And now, let's move to the other important organs, what we call the female reproductive system. So we will now be focusing about the organs of girls or a lady. No? So mainly, there are 5, important structures, major parts of reproductive system in female. Mainly composed of vagina, the cervix, the fallopian tube, and the ovary, including the uterus. So when you try to look at there, in our presentation, the basic terms or the keywords are not too much compared to male reproductive organ. So as you can see, the front view of the female reproductive organs, and based on the model that I have here, those organs that we're talking about, the vagina, the cervix, uterus, fallopian tube, and the ovary, these are the major keywords that we have to be more familiar, especially young ladies. Organs of the female reproductive system, you all guys are very much familiar, or maybe this word is not new to you. The word vagina. You don't know in Pasatay too. I don't know in Pasatay. Both penis and vagina, but this is one of the most common literal term. If you talk this kind of sensitive word, especially in particular in reproductive organ. So vagina, also called the birth channel or birth canal. This is the portal exit of a fetus or a baby by the time he or she will be given birth. It is a tube leading from the uterus to the outside of the body where sperms enter, and it is usually acidic. Next one, cervix. Cervix is the lower portion of the uterus where the vagina and the uterus meet, the legs for the delivery of the baby. This one mainly the lower portion of the uterus. And this is normally, during sexual intercourse, the penis usually transfer the sperm throughout, bound to the uterus and reaches through the fallopian tube. What is then a uterus? A uterus is a hollow fist-sized organ located between the bladder and rectum, where the zygote implants and the embryo starts to develop. So, during pregnancy, within the period of pregnancy of a woman, pregnant woman, so you might wonder, where does the baby or a fetus stay? So, that is the place where the baby or a fetus stay for 9 months in a uterus. It is a hollow fist-sized organ between the bladder and the rectum. I'll repeat, that is where the zygote or the embryo implanted and developed. And now, the last organs of the female reproductive system is what we call an ovary or ovaries. This is a small organ on the ends of the fallopian tube in which responsible for the production and release of egg or egg cell during ovulation period. So females are born with all of the eggs they will ever produce. Ovaries alternate the release of eggs each month. Like testes, the ovaries produce hormones, estrogen, and progesterone. this release of the ova called ovulation. So you may wonder why most ladies, young ladies or adult experience, what we call menstruation. It turns out into blood discharge. So this is the reason why during menstrual cycle, most ladies or young ladies, or adults, we experience what we call menstrual cycle. Typically lasts 28 days approximately, or 1 month. One cycle is the amount of time from the beginning of one period to the beginning of the next period. So the beginning of a period is marked by the release of the blood and lining from the inside of the uterus. So this flow of blood typically lasts 3 to 7 days and is called menstruation. So no wonder why some young ladies or most women experience menstrual period. So this is mainly what most ladies experience throughout their puberty and of course throughout adolescent stage. Let me continue about the structure and function of the female reproductive system. So we're now talking and focusing about the female reproductive parts. So there we go. This is the uterine tube. This is the ovary, the uterus, urinary bladder, symphysis pubis, urethra, the other one is clitoris, labia minora, labia majora, and this is the vagina. On the other side, this is a fimbriae in which linked to the fallopian tube, in which the egg cell meets with sperm cell and then eventually blastocyst. And then this is the cervix part, and this is the rectum, which is very close to the whole opening of the cervix, and then the vagina, and then the anus. Produced female sex cells is what we call ova in the ovaries or gonads. It moved the ova to the site of fertilization. I repeat, egg cell meet with sperm cell in the fallopian tube, and then eventually blastocytes within the fimbriae. So it helps to nurture the egg, the fertilized egg or ova until birth. All right. Next one. So to make you clarify, this is the fallopian tube, the ovary, the fimbriae, the vagina, this portion. This is the cervix, the myometrium, endometrium, the fundus, and the uterus, then including the uterine tube along the fallopian tube. And this is what we call the fimbriae, where blastocysts occur. Once the sperm cell and egg cell takes place during fertilization process. Here are the structure to make you understand. The structure and function of the ovary, egg, uterine tube, the uterus. If not fertilized, expulsion through menstruation happens. If fertilized, implantation, conception, and pregnancy happens. So it depends between the two. If there is fertilization, pregnancy takes place or possible to happen. If no fertilization, so expulsion or usual or monthly menstrual period or menstrual cycle occurs in a lady or a woman. Now, The birth of an egg in ovarian cycle. Ovaries release the egg cyclically from the Graafian follicle. The fertilized egg is transported to the uterus where it develops into an embryo. At the end of the gestation of infants born through the vagina or surgically through an abdomen in a cesarean delivery. Now let's summarize the important functions of main parts of a female reproductive system. So part 1 is the ovary. What's the job? Helps to produce the egg or ova. This helps to produce the hormones estrogen and progesterone. Next one, the fallopian tube, or in other words, oviduct. The function of the oviduct or fallopian tube, this helps to catch the egg from the ovary and transport it to the uterus, which is the site of fertilization. And possible if fertilization takes place, implantation, conception, and pregnancy occurs. So, what is then the uterus? The uterus, it is a site of implantation that holds to develop the embryo. It has a lining or endometrium that enriched with blood vessels to nourish the embryo. And then it forms the placenta. So take note, okay, this is the site for the pregnancy period. Now, once a woman experience, if she got pregnant, she may experience pregnancy period, and usually the developing embryo or a fetus takes place in the uterus within 9 months. The last one, we have the vagina. Okay? So this is also the major basic term, okay, which allows the entry of sperm and exit of baby at birth. This is commonly known as a birth canal. So this portion. Okay? So the fetus or a baby usually stay at the uterus in endometrium lining, within the uterus. Then, at the waiting stage until this fetus will be given birth throughout the way. So, this is the end of our presentation. Thank you so much.